Hi, everybody. Welcome to those of you who are here, those of you who are listening to the recording, those who are watching on YouTube or on Boxcast. Terrible storming today. The weather has been bad all across the country. And I wanted to share with you a little tidbit that I saw, a little quote, and it was about people who are performers, musicians, actors, those people who are involved in the arts. The quote said, "A pause or silence can build tension. A silence can define a moment." There are many places in our Jewish tradition where silence is referred to, where we talk about silence. Some of you are familiar with the Amidah prayer, which is a replication of the prayer of Hannah, who stood before the priest praying that she might have a child. And we read that her lips moved, but no sound came out. That prayer, that silent prayer, turned out to be very potent and would result in the birth of her child, who would become Shmuel, who would become a great leader of Israel. Silence. Pirkei Avot, in several places, the Ethics of the Father in several places, talks about the value of silence. Chapter 1, in fact, verse 17 of Pirkei Avot, tells us that the Rabbi Shimon used to say, "All my days I grew up among the sages, and I have found nothing better for a person than silence." In another place, in Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, chapter 6, Perek 6, we read that Torah is acquired through 48 virtues, 48 ways that we absorb Torah into our lives. One of those ways is by a minimum of talk, by allowing silence into our lives. It makes sense, after all. For if we're not willing to allow silence to be part of our life, how are we going to hear the messages that are so important? The primary message of our tradition, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, starts off with the words, "Hear." And what do you need to hear? You need silence so that you can hear. You need silence so that you can be aware. But we live in a world, friends, that really makes it very difficult to find silence. There's always something happening. There's 24-hour news. There's the internet. There's always a diversion there that doesn't allow us silence. We need that silence. We need to calm and quiet ourselves. For when we do, we find ourselves getting stronger and having strength. The philosopher Lao Tzu said, "Silence is the source of a great strength." And I think he's right. The ability to remain silent, to process what it is that we're hearing, to process what is going on around us. It's a skill that we should cultivate, because all too often we know people who speak before thinking, or who enjoy just hearing their own voices over and over again. We need silence. There are plenty of opportunities in our Jewish tradition for us to bring silence into our lives. I mentioned a minute ago about the Amidah prayer. Well, the Amidah is a moment of silence that we have 3 times a day. Maybe, just maybe, while we may not be able to say all the words of the Amidah, we may not be able to recite the entire morning liturgy or afternoon or evening liturgy, maybe we can remind ourselves to take a moment for silence, to reinvigorate ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to allow Torah to become part of our lives. Friends, I invite you to join with me on the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabam. Bialma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabam Mevarach Li'olam Li'amei Amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei D'Kudisha Barichu. Al Berchata v'shirata. Tishbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'ama v'imru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Mishamaya. Hayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama. Uyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Thank you, friends, for joining with me today. I wish you a good week. Allow that silence to be in your lives. Thank you so much.